Good morning or afternoon, depending on when you're watching this and what hour I have you. If you don't have it, make sure that you have the worksheet that looks like what's on the screen right now. We are going to kind of start out by taking some startup notes, and then we will move on to Carnegie a little bit later. So there'll be at least two, if not three, separate videos for this section of work. Um, It really goes along with things that you already know, but we're just adding another layer. Okay. So we're looking at target one in inequality. Ooh, that is not what I wanted. Let's erase that. Boy, oh boy. Inequalities, target one, we're representing inequalities on a number line. Well, first of all, we have to know what an inequality is. You've seen it before, you just have never probably heard it called an inequality, and that's okay. So we're starting out with lower levels, and we have less than. You've probably heard that before. So we want to remember that less than looks like that. The smaller part points to the smaller number. The open, or sometimes we call it the mouth, is always towards the largest. Okay, now some of you may have seen this in elementary school where they talk about a Pac-Man eating the larger number or an alligator. There's lots of different little tricks that you can use to remember. I always remember the mouth or the big part is always open to the largest number. So we have greater than would be the opposite. Okay, now one that I'm going to add down here and talk about real quick is equal. Okay, we have an equal sign. Well, now that you're in sixth grade, we can also talk about things being less than or equal to. So what we're going to do is we're going to use half of the equal. See, we just took this lower part of the equal sign and put it right there underneath the less than sign. So that means two things might be less than, it might be the same. We don't know. Okay. I might say things like, I have maybe $5 or less in my bag, in my purse, in my wallet, in my pocket. Okay. So it might be 5, so it might be equal, or it could be smaller. It could be $4.50. It could be $4, $3. It might be 2 pennies. I don't know. Okay. So then the last one then would be greater than or equal to, greater than or equal. So we have that half of the equal symbol right underneath her as well. Okay. So make sure you're writing this down. These notes are going to be super, super helpful because Carnegie doesn't, they expect you to kind of already know this, our math curriculum. So we're kind of taking an extra step here and kind of starting out with some things that might really help you. An inequality compares two values showing if one is less than, greater than, or simply not equal to another value. So we have all these choices up here. It could be less than, it could be greater than, it could be less than or equal to, it could be greater than or equal to, it could be equal or not equal. I want to show you what not equal looks like. This is kind of cool. You have the equals, but have you ever walked into somewhere and it says, you can't go in there if you don't have a shirt on, or maybe they don't allow hats. So there's a picture of a hat with a slash mark through it. Pretty sure when you come into the school, there's like a picture of a gun with a slash mark, meaning no guns. So we just put a slash mark through the equals. That means not equal. Okay. So let's kind of practice with this, just kind of to refresh our memories. So if I have 4 something 5, so remember, I'm going to either think about less than, greater than, less than or equal, greater than or equal, equal, or not equal. Well, we know they're not equal, But how would we compare? We would think about these numbers on a number line. Okay, and I see that 5 is here, right? And 4 is here. So we learn about this with positive and negative numbers. If it's to the left, okay, we know that it's smaller. So we're going to make our less than. The mouth is open, eating the larger 5. So when we do that, it says that 4 is less than 5. We want to be able to know in words what that means. 10 is something 15. Now, if this makes sense, you remember this, complete it. You don't have to watch the video. Okay, that's up to you. 10 is going to be less than 15. So that means 10 is less than 15. 22 and 20. Well, I'd rather have $22 than $20. So I got to turn the mouth over here because 22 is greater than 20. Okay. Let's move on. This says that x is blank than 3. So now we have to look at this and be able to read it and understand what is it saying. Because remember, we're in 6th grade. We're working with variables, those letters that stand for numbers. So we have a whole nother layer of this that we have to be thinking about. So whatever x is, I don't know what it is yet, but I know one thing for sure. It has to be greater than 3. Remember, that means bigger, okay? Because look where the mouth is. The mouth is eating x. That means x has to be bigger than 3, okay? We're going to learn how to graph these inequalities on a number line, but what I want you to think about is indeed a number line. Okay, we're going to start out with graphing this, but I want you to think about one thing. If I said in order to go to the end of the year party, you have to have more than $3, let's say. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in order to have more or greater than 3, you could have $4. You could have $5. You could have $6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You could even have everything in between. I could have $4.01, $4.50. I could have $5.25. I could have $6.02. Okay. It could be anything on the number line. Okay. So we're going to learn how to put that on a number line. Okay. Flip your page over on the next page. There's only one more piece of information you need to think about. First of all, remember what I just told you. The answer to this, where x could be, it could be $3 or 3.01. It could be 4. It could be 5, 6, 10, 20, 31.3, 47, and 2,500. It could be all these numbers because all of them are larger or greater than 3. So we're going to write it out in word form. We're going to find the point on the number line. We're going to think about, is it an open or a closed circle? And you're going, well, what does that mean, Mrs. Canupp, open or closed circle? Well, if it's an open circle on the number line, that means it's either greater than or less than. It does not include the number. So when we have an open circle, you're going to have greater than or less than. Okay. Now, if it's a closed circle, that means it's included in the answer. So that could be greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Okay, so we have x is greater than 3. So we can see based on this, it matches this. We're going to put an open circle on the 3. Okay, because we're comparing x to 3. So we know it's going to have something to do with 3. Now you have to be very careful when you're doing this for me. You can do this in a Nearpod that I have. There'll be opportunities to just do it with your paper pencil, but it has to be clear. I have to be able to tell, did you close the circle or is it open? Now, dropped my pen. The last thing that we're thinking about is, okay, all these answers that I just kind of randomly listed, okay, are they over here or are they over here compared to 3? Well, remember what it says when we read it. X is greater than. Okay, so greater than should tell you if X is greater than that, then you're going to be moving. I'm going to get my red pen, but I'm going to make it a little thicker here. You're going to be moving to all of these numbers. Okay, aren't some of these numbers that I listed up here? They're right there on the number line. Okay, but I can include everything if I just draw a solid line, and then to show that it goes on and on forever because I don't want to spend my day listing everything, I just draw an arrow, and that means everything to infinity to the right, positive infinity, can be an answer. Okay, to positive infinity. Okay, now let's take a look at x is less than 3. X is less than 3. Okay, so we're still dealing with an open circle because it's less than. I'm still dealing with 3, but do you notice what the difference is? Here, x is greater, but if I think about numbers smaller than 3, I'm going to be thinking about 2, 1, 0, -1, -2. So I want to draw my arrow the other way. That's all you got to do. Okay. Now let's think about here greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Okay. Now the only difference on this is that we have to color in the circle. Greater than or equal. Do you guys see why it's equal? Because we have the little line under there. Okay, so that means we have to color in the dot. Okay, so I can go to 3 on my number line. So I can tell that my dot is solid and x is greater. So once again, I'm going to be going to the right. Okay. Last one. X is less than, or equal. Do you see the line? Let's highlight it. You see the line under there? That tells me it has to be less than or equal. So once again, on my number line, I'm looking for the 3. I can color it in solid, but because it's the word less, that means smaller. I have to go to all these numbers, negative infinity. Okay, now everything below this is for you to practice. So that's what you need to go do right now. Okay, use these notes. If you need to stop and listen to the video again or parts of it, pause it, do whatever you need to do to be successful. But I want you to work the rest of these practice problems. Good luck.